Somebody asked me a while ago, when did I get in? I don't remember. I just know I'll leave in a few minutes. It's a lot of times due to personal tragedy, especially when we're going through the tragedy, we have no clue why. And kind of go along with the song, "Why Me, Lord?" You know, it goes both ways. What did I ever do to deserve you? And what did I ever do to deserve this? But once the tragedy goes away, we become accustomed to it, we turn back to God. That's when we realize God may have had a bigger plan. A year and a half ago, we experienced 2 personal tragedies in a row. It brought us back to church for the first time in years. A lot of music and poetry is written through personal tragedy. And the song that I'm going to sing today is a perfect example of that. Back in the 1930s, a man named Tommy, who's a piano teacher, who's the son of a minister, musical director at Pilgrim Baptist Church in Chicago. He was also a novice jazz musician. He lived in a little apartment in Chicago. He wasn't making much money at the time, and his wife was pregnant. He got a telegram from St. Louis, and it said, "Tommy, we want you to come down and play in a jazz band. It'll pay you some decent money, and it'll sure help out with your bills." And with your wife being pregnant, you know their bills are fixing to go through the roof. And so he was ready to deliver any night, or any time, I should say. And it was a cold, snowy night. Him and his wife sat for hours and talked about it. "I really think you should go," she said, "because we need the money, but I don't want to leave you because the baby is coming and such." And she's like, and they talked about it most of the night. Finally, the next morning, they made the decision. He got on the train, went to St. Louis, started playing in this jazz band. The very first night he was down there, he comes off stage and he gets a telegram. It says, "Your wife delivered a beautiful baby boy. Unfortunately, she died during childbirth." Distraught, Tommy jumps on a train, goes back. The whole way up there, he's just heartbroken, ridden with guilt. Leaving his wife, should have been there. Don't know if I could have helped, but I could have held her hand, By the time he got back to Chicago, he steps off of the train. One of his friends meets him and says, "Tommy, I'm sorry to tell you this, but the boy died too." It just devastated him. Weeks went by. He got into an alcoholic funk. Couldn't hardly exist. But his dad came to visit him. And a lot of times parents do know best, especially when we get older and realize it. But his dad came to visit him and said, "Son, what I want you to do is I want you to go in there to that piano and write a new song. Don't come out of that room until that song's written." He went into the piano. He sat there for a while. He said he remembers that he felt that God had done him an injustice. I didn't want to serve him anymore, and I didn't want to write any more songs. I just wanted to go back to that jazz world where the alcohol was free. At least there I can escape. He tried coming out of the room a couple of times. His daddy stood strong. He said, "No, you're not coming out until you write a song." He sat down, he tried to write 2 or 3 jazz songs, just wasn't feeling it. All of a sudden a feeling come over him. He turned back to God. In a small measure, he asked God for his help through life. God placed this song upon his heart. This song is one of the greatest gospel songs that was ever written, and it was written through his personal tragedy. He went on to sing and direct this song at churches and concerts around the world, and this year it has now been translated into 32 languages. We now know Tommy as Tommy Dorsey, one of the greatest jazz musicians of all time. And this is the tune that came to his mind. He took up his pen and he wrote these words. my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I'm tired, I'm weak, and I'm worn. Through the storms, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me home. When my ways grow strewn and precious Lord linger near, when my life is almost gone, hear my cry, hear my call, hold my hand lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me home. When the darkness appears and the night draws near and the day is past and gone, at the river I'll stand, guide my feet and hold my hand. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me home. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I'm tired, I'm weak, and I'm worn and worn. Through the storms, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me home.